Alright, so this is take two. Because I always do two takes and stuff like this. Because, the first time I get all my ranting out, and then usually the second time more composed. The reason I'm using Warframe is that you can't hear the shitty PS4 fan in the background. I know the audio's still gonna be shit because it's my crap top. But I don't like to talk about real world shit, because all I do is post like shitty stuff, like video things that I find funny or things that I find cool. So I don't do these kind of videos often, talking about like again real world shit. So uh, how do I start this? Because the coronavirus shit, I'm pretty sure everyone in the world knows it now, right? Let's see, where does a little rabbit hole start? Okay, yeah, okay. This is my second time doing the video, but I don't, I just there's so much shit that I just want to say that I don't even I need to write down a list. But let's just start where my little journey began. Keep saying a lot too. So I used to, I think a long time ago, I got recommended this video about uh, barn pigeons cooing. They're like brown and have red eyes. I'm like, okay, sure. And like I do like the sounds pigeon makes, so I listened to the video. I'm like, oh, that's kind of cute. Uh, so that was like years ago, and then I get it recommended again, and I'm like, okay, I'll watch it again because why not? I'm bored. And I scrolled on the comment section because sometimes people make funny comments, usually just copy and pasted shit, but sometimes it's funny. And I see the pinned comment saying, "Oh, well, California's killing all these innocent chickens." I'm like, "Oh, great! What is California doing this time? The state that made it no longer a felony to give someone AIDS and misdemeanor. It's a misdemeanor to steal. I think below $950 is a misdemeanor, so they can't arrest you now. So people are stealing shit from stores and just walking out. The police can't do shit. Um, so I'm like, okay, what big brain idea did California do this time? And they said, "Oh, well, they're killing all these chickens because of the coronavirus." And I need to remind you, this is in December. This is in December. Let's establish a timeline here. This is in December. So California said they're killing all the chickens because of the coronavirus uh thing in China. I'm like, okay, well that's weird. So that started my little deep dive into coronavirus, and now I think all my friends and family now think I'm a fucking raving conspiracy theorist. But hey, I've been right about everything so far, right? So still must be a conspiracy. But that's basically my journey. It all started because I fucking watched a pigeon cooing in a barn, and now I know fucking everything about coronavirus. Funny. Um, yeah, but I won't even go over the history or the time. Like, I'll set up a timeline. Like, we early as October, you had fucking people getting kicked out from China, out of Canada, and even as recent as like December, Harvard professors getting sued because they're sending over. Well, in the case of Canada, there's two Chinese scientists that were stealing viral samples and bringing it back to guess where, Wuhan, and guess what they were bringing back? Coronavirus samples. And then you have the same thing with the Harvard professor. Like he got paid like 5 million or something, and again it went to the virology lab in Wuhan. Oh my! And then you also have the fact that the quote unquote outbreak of the wet market, um, and then the viral institute lab where all these samples are being back are only 8 miles, so that's a 30-minute drive. So there's that. So what I'm trying to imply is, and you could put this on a conspiracy theory, but I don't think this thing's natural. There's no way with all the conditions. It's like I hope it's man-made, because if it's natural, then holy shit, we are not long for this fucking world. Because realistically, yes, bats do carry corona, but they're basically like the vacuum cleaners of the animal kingdom. They carry just a lot of the deadly diseases. That's why you don't fucking eat bats. But this is China we're talking about. They eat fucking dogs and gutter oil and all this. 5,000 years of culture led to this, right? Eating fucking gutter oil and fucking bats and shit. So yeah, maybe someone. Look, you have like there's a couple of fucking theories, right? You have bat soup. Someone forgot to wash their hands out of the viral lab. Now they're released on the world. Someone got pissed on by a bat, because that's the story running around now. Because the idea is that in the virology lab they have bats and shit that have diseases, and someone got bit and pissed on by a bat, and they self quarantined for something, and it wasn't long enough. Then you have the Shinji cult, the death cult in South Korea, that had a church built in Wuhan that was like the fucking what you call it, the building blueprints that were like redacted or taken off the official site. And then like there's a funny conspiracy theory going around too now saying, oh, maybe they turned on one of the Wuhan people and they won, and now because if you see a map of all the major churches and the outbreak centers, like it's like almost like 1 to 1. And the fact that like I think a majority of the cases out South Korea came from this death cult purposely like infecting people with the disease, and the fact that when the guy said his like the pet or whatever said, oh, I'm sorry, he bowed twice, which means you bow twice to someone who's dead or something. Like who knows? Who knows? Take your pick how the world's gonna fucking end or something. Like either way, it's still fucking. It's something out of a fucking movie. It's. I'm laughing because like if I don't laugh, I'm gonna fucking cry because of how fucking depressing it is, and just the reaction everyone's been having. So that's like that. So let's go back to timelines. That's December, right? And then you have and like the way I gauge is that something serious to the mainstream media starts talking about it. Like because on my Apple News it's all about the primaries and Bernie Sanders and Biden and all this other shit. But I'll see maybe one story about hey coronavirus in China, something like that. Um and then like look at it now, all they do is talk about coronavirus. So there's that. Um but and then do I even need to set up January where it started spreading around the world? Like that's it. What I really want to talk about is just the response people have been having and the response I've been having as a person. um, so it's kind of like how I did the second take of this video. The first take was me screaming, ranting, raving, saying, "Oh, everyone's a fucking retard, and all these people are incompetent, and world leaders are stupid as shit, and why would you listen to the World Health Organization?" Also, the crazy shit. Well, not crazy, but I was very in my feelings because I think it's fucking ridiculous that now I have to worry about whether my grandma or my grandpa or my fucking parents will have to live or die because some asshole coughed or something. Um, yeah, it's just that just made me upset. So I like to say like this. There's always two approaches. You can always be calm and collected, or passionate, like full of emotion. And I guess the full emotion has an appeal to it because it's passionate. If you're someone's really like invested emotion, they care about it. They're not just being a monotone robotic voice telling you X, Y, and Z. They care enough. But I think when it comes to serious issues like this, you have to be more calm and collected so people can gauge that. Or I mean, hey, it could be like someone who's usually calm and collected. If they're emotional, then they're serious, right? They could also work like that. But what I'm trying to say is the way I approached it with my family, at least at first, I was kind of doomer. Oh shit, it's going down because I knew it was going to go down, and look, it went down. Like look where we are now. Um, but I said a very calm and collected voice, like, hey, mom and dad, I you should maybe look at this, buy some masks, get some shit together, and you know what? They actually listened to me, which is actually pretty surprising. So I know they're set. I don't have to worry about them running out of masks or food and water. Oh, but we don't have enough toilet paper. Oh no, not the toilet paper. Fucking, I still don't understand. Why would you? Again, I'd rather have a shitty ass and food and water than have a clean ass and die from starvation and thirst. I don't know why people are so fucking obsessed with toilet paper, but yeah, that's my approach to this video. I will try to be more calm and collected. Um, but this really went to this entire situation reminded me of something my professor said, where he says, this world's always full of people trying to persuade you to get, try to change your point of view to fall in line with theirs, or they're always trying to persuade you. Like someone's always trying to sell you something, right? I mean, even this video was kind of like this. Like I'm trying to sell you something. And he said, my goal is to give you the tools you need to be independent and make your own choices. Like for instance, I don't really like listen to the news anymore. Like I do, but I don't take it to heart. Like I'll see, okay, what are they talking about today, and that's it. I don't really say, oh, I can't believe this happened, X, Y, and Z. If something really interests me, I'll look into it. Like the coronavirus stuff. If it's something really like, you know, catches my attention, like okay, I'll look into this because you can't trust them with this shit. I might sound like some crazy person, but like every story they've said, I've known about a week in advance. People like me have known about a week in advance. And this entire idea that it's always the mainstream media that that they're the information brokers, like I find that kind of terrifying because they basically have a monopoly on information. Because where else are you going to go, right? Like on Twitter, if you posted anything about the coronavirus and you're not a verified source, you'd get banned. On YouTube, if you posted anything about the coronavirus and you weren't a verified source, you'd get demonetized and your thing wouldn't show up in the search algorithm. Like, per example, there are videos coming out of Wuhan saying the doctors were crying and shit, saying, "Oh, we're all gonna die," and there's way more people than what they're saying. And you know, uh, what else? What else? Oh yeah, the funeral, the burning people. So there's a big one saying, "Hey, China's burning people. and they're not letting people have a funeral. They're just burning bodies left, right, and center to lower their the infection, like to amend it so saying, oh well, you can't really count these people dead if there's no body there to count, right? Like they're trying to play with the numbers. And I mean, if you look at Italy, if you look at the rest of the world, there's no way China's numbers are anywhere or even like I don't know. I know I'm going off on a side tangent, but I find it funny that they kicked out all the other news sources and now they're saying, oh, only 41 cases today, while Italy has like 1,000 plus every day, New York has 1,000 plus every day, and they're less densely populated than China. Like I don't understand that, but whatever. And it's going back to the burning people, right? Cremations, right? You have people in funeral homes saying, oh, we're so tired of being overworked, 24/7 burning bodies, and then people are actually pulling up sulfur maps or something like you, China has like this you can measure like air pollution by like how much sulfur or whatever the country's producing. And China usually is like a huge fucking contributor to global pollution of sulfur or whatever because they're always working in factories. So people are saying, oh well, how come all these sulfur levels are like they're like completely down, right? Because no one's in the factories, but why are they still kind of like rising? And people are saying, oh, maybe they're burning stuff because fire like stuff from like chimneys and stuff create fucking uh sulfur and shit. And you have videos coming out of Wuhan and shit saying like in the middle of the night you see like just bright lights and shit. People wondering, well, what the fuck is that? And people are speculating, what if they're just burning people? What if they're just burning people in giant pyres and because there's not enough space in funeral homes and all this other shit? And if you said that, oh, well, misinformation, conspiracy theorists, and all this other crazy shit, and you get banned off Twitter. And I love this cycle. So something come out, people say, hey, look at this, get banned. Then there'd be a rumor 2 days later saying, well, I think there was like Yahoo News, like, oh, well, there's a rumor saying now China's burning bodies and shit. And then like maybe 3 to 5 days later, mainstream supposed to say, mainstream media would finally catch us like, oh well, yeah, no, it's been confirmed that they're burning bodies. So like a week in advance, people would already know, but oh now you know now they're telling the rest of the world. So shit like that. That's been like that for everything, for like literally everything. So there's that. Also the fact that the whole entire racism fucking thing. Oh well, it's racist to say it comes from China. Viruses don't have nationalities, and you can't say X, Y, and Z. I mean, you know what? I really feel bad for saying this, but look, you know what? Italy got what it fucking deserved with that stupid shit. I can't like I don't even mean that because I know there's so many people that died that don't even fucking deserve. That's so sad to say it, but the stupid fucking notion that you can't close off your borders from a country because that's racist because they all have a disease and you don't know how much of them are carrying and they can all be asymptomatic and shit. Well, that's racist. Well, look what Italy did. Like this is like the most ironic shit I've ever seen in my life. There was a fucking video where a guy from Wuhan saying, "I'm not a virus" and all this other shit and people hugged him. And now I'm not saying he was the person who had it, because he probably, maybe he was, maybe he wasn't. But like, look at Italy now. It is fucked. They have locked the entire country down, and everyone's like, there's 1,000 cases every day, and everyone's dying and shit. They are fucked. That's what they get. Like, this whole entire it's racist. Like, well, guess what? I'd rather be a racist and close down my borders and protect my country than have fucking do what Italy did and look fuck itself in the dirt. I mean, America already did that. We already fucked ourselves into the dirt because well, before I get into that, well, no, I guess I can touch on that because it's also a political thing. I hate how everything has to be fucking political in America. There's like this chart somewhere, I can't remember, where it's like it has like like again, if this was 20 years ago, I think we'd have a much better response. Not because like oh the president's different, but the idea that culturally we're more unified. Um, because like I honestly think another issue of mainstream media, since the majority of people watch it, if they really like can shape people's opinions and they split the American people. Like they really have like every time there's something like an issue like Black Lives Matter or some other shit or March for Our Lives, both sides, Fox and CNN, always all these other news sources always like to demonize the other side, and that makes people demonize each other, and we get split along these fucking ideological lines and shit. 20 years ago, you wouldn't have things like this happening. This wouldn't be a political issue 20 years ago. We'd all be like, no, as a country, we're not going to deal with this shit, so we're shutting down the borders and all this other stuff. But I mean, like, if you want to look at it from both sides fucked up. You have the Democrats saying, "Well, we want open borders. That's racist." So look what happened. And you have the Republicans saying, "Oh, we need the economy and the market and all this other bullshit." Look what happened. If you wanted the market to not close, you let international trade happen. Now it came through the airports. Democrats want to open borders. Now people came from different countries. Like both sides fucked this up. I don't think they care about either of us. It's all fucking like I don't understand politicians, whatever. Um, so I don't understand how this has to be a fucking political issue. I don't. I do think that Trump could be doing a lot more, way more things that were better. Like for instance, he should have straight up did what North Korea did, shut the fucking entire shit down. He should have done said, okay, no more like bare minimum, no more international flights. It was nice that they had quarantine stations set up by fucking by the airports and shit. But they should have at least did 23 days. Because that's the rumor now, and it's been proven that 14 days isn't enough for self quarantine because you have people who've been in self quarantine for like I think a lady in California was like 14 days, and then 2 days later she tested positive. So it's been proven that 14 days isn't like the more defined one. I've even heard a room that's been up to 42 days, but that's like a rare exception. But still, I don't know why they took the why not be on the side of caution? Like look what North Korea did. They shut down all their borders. Anyone who comes in here has to wait a minimum of a month, 30 days. All packages have to wait a minimum of 10 days because on the smoothest surface, this thing can last up to 9 days. So again, 10 days. That's a good protocol, right? And now I don't agree with shooting every sick person, every coughing person. I think that's kind of fucked up. But I think if America took that approach, we would have it wouldn't be as bad. Like I'm not saying it wouldn't come here. Of course, it would come here. This is we're international at this point. Globalization, all this other bullshit. Um, but yeah, like if we did it that way, it'd be a lot less like mitigated. Cause like you have to think about like this. Um, New York, right? All it took was one person. I think it was a lawyer coming from like Europe or something. All it took was one person. Look how fucked New York is. All it took was one person. Look how fucked New York is. All it took was one person in China. Look how fucked the world is. Like I don't understand why. And then everyone's writing, oh, it's just the flu. It's the. I'm starting to get really fucking ranty. But there's so much shit to talk about. Like just every vector that we could talk about. It's such a dumb response. You have people saying, "Oh, well, it's just the flu," and more people die from X, Y, and Z, and all yada yada yada. Well, I don't remember. You remember when the flu came around last year? I don't remember China fucking its economy into the dirt. I don't remember the world economy fucking itself into the dirt. I don't remember fucking having permanent lung scarring from the flu. I don't remember getting super pneumonia and febrile seizures. The thing where your body gets so hot your brain shuts down, which causes a seizure. I don't remember getting that from the flu. I don't remember grandma and grandpa fucking dying because of the flu, and I mean like a high mortality rate amongst older people. I don't remember them shutting down half the fucking country because of the flu, but whatever. The arbitrary death count. Also, it's a 9% mortality rate in Italy, so you can all shut the fuck up about that. I think it's 3% in America, but that's still fucking bad because smallpox is 3% or some shit, and that smallpox, right? Um, so there's that. So everyone who's just the flu, like that's what I feel like the world response was. Oh, it's just the flu, and look, now we've all fucked ourselves into the dirt because everyone thinks it's just the flu, and they didn't take any preventive action. Government, the CDC is like, hey, we need, if anything, if there was a world pandemic, you need 3.5 billion masks for all the healthcare workers. Oh, well, we only have 1% stocked up. And then you have news stories, conveniently enough, saying, oh, well, it's more dangerous to wear a mask than X, Y, and Z. No, they don't want you to buy a fucking mask because they need to buy their mask for their government employees. It's like, so much shit, and again, it's beautiful because all this would be labeled a conspiracy theory. If I've been saying this shit for like the past couple months now, and everyone looked at me like crazy. I even wore a mask to school, and everyone looked at me like crazy. If I wore a mask now, I would think, oh, I'm a fucking normal person. I find it funny. It's literally the epitome of "I told you so." But I really hoped that people like me really were wrong. Like I didn't want this thing to be a fucking pandemic. I don't feel good saying, "Oh, I told you so." All you guys are idiots. I don't feel happy about this. This feels shitty. This feels like I'm actually fucking terrified right now because my I live close to my grandparents. I live with my parents, so at least for my mom to go to school. So if I can't like she's works for the government. She's considered essential, so she has to go to work. And now, granted, she her office now they don't see people. They're like there's only 10 people in her office because she's one of the managers there, so she has to be there. So there's less of a risk, but still there's a risk there because she's interacting with her coworkers. And I like the idea of my mom cashing in and dying because she has an underlying disease. Fucking that scares the shit out of me. My dad, the idea like he works from home, but my brother lives with him and he works in Virginia. And he comes back and forth from Virginia. There's a lot of sick people at his job because it's a private company. They can't take time off because they're not going to get paid for it. So the fact that they can die, it's fucking terrifying. The fact that my grandparents can die, it's fucking terrifying. The fact that my nephew can die, it's fucking terrifying. Or the fact that it's seasonal, so every year I have to worry about, oh, is this the year my fucking family's gonna die? Like shit like that. And And again, I find it fucking people thinking, oh, I'm overreacting, oh, you're ridiculous. Well, no, look what happened. I don't if I feel like if everyone erred on the side of caution, this wouldn't be as bad as it is now. I mean, and it didn't help that China fucking lied and said, oh, it wasn't a big deal. And they didn't give them, the rest of the world basic things like, oh, what's the genome sequence of this and X, Y, and Z? What are the symptoms? Or like, hey, oh, it turns out, well, mild cases, which is the majority of cases, or anything that doesn't need ventilation. So you having that pneumonia, the super pneumonia, you having a verbal seizure doesn't count as it counts as mild basically. Severe and critical count as like molten org. Well, severe I think is you need intubation, ventilation, shit like that. And then critical is multiple organ failure because this thing can fuck with your organs and so they found it in your spinal fluid too apparently and give you comas and shit or induced encephalitis and shit like that. Like it's that's why I'm like there's no way this thing's natural because if it's natural I'm so scared because that means we are fucked. It's this year has been a magical year. Everyone's fucking oh my god it's crazy and everyone's hoping for a vaccine. You really want to be in quarantine for 18 months? 18 months really? Oh my god, fucking. I'm an introvert. I'm fine with being inside all day. I'm fine with that. But I know a lot of people aren't. They're gonna fucking lose their minds being stuck at home for like fucking 30 days for like what a year. Think about all the small business owners that are losing their fucking business. Think about all the people that lost their jobs because of this, and all the federal government's gonna give you $2,000. Like that's gonna make up for anything. Um, it's really fucking. It is. I don't feel like I'm me right now. I don't feel like I woke up and I'm me today. I feel like I'm a third party witness to the most like just dumbest thing ever. It's literally the world has done everything wrong. Like it's like watching a horror of like Contagion or something where the world government did everything fucking wrong. They did all the wrong steps. They didn't take it seriously and look where we are now. I don't know. I still think it's fucking terrifying. Also, go BNO coronavirus. That's the news source I've been relying on because not only do they report they're very up to date, they also have sources. So not only do they have um like all they say 1,000 in Italy and 200 died, they'll have a source and all the sources are independent. They're not like from CNN or from Fox. They're all independent sources. They're not from the same source. So I feel like that's more reliable. They even have a map too that lets you know how fucked the world is. I mean, shit. And then you have and then I get it. Look, I understand. You can't tell people, hey, there's a virus that's gonna come to America. It's gonna fuck over the entire world. It's really highly contagious and it's very deadly. And there's a higher reinfection rate and all this other crazy bullshit nightmare shit that this thing can do. I get it. You don't want people to panic. It's not gonna do any good. But it would have been one thing if they said it like, hey, it's just a flu, but secretly started putting things into motion like, hey, let's start, mitigating international travel. Let's start mitigating domestic travel. Hey, let's start fucking banning certain countries from flying to us. But no, they literally act like, oh, it's just a flu. Oh well, we stopped China. It's okay. People from China can't get it. Well, guess what? All the cases in my state came from people from Italy and Europe, like people from Europe, because again, it's spread throughout the fucking continent, and people have their heads up their ass like, oh, well, it's only China. It could possibly spread to other countries. So I don't even know. This has been another rant. I try to start off this as calm and collected, but what I'm trying to get at here is that I don't know what to take away from this. It has literally taken away my faith in the American government, the world government. The World Health Organization is a fucking joke. Let's be honest, okay? They have a 30. I think China's like a 30% stake in them or something. Like they get most of the money from China anyways. If you watch any of the press conference, they are constantly sucking China's dick, constantly. Anytime, yeah, China's number one. They did everything they could. The fucking head Teddy something, he wants fucking $1.5 million fought against internet trolls and misinformation, or he wants fucking like this is why it also makes me sad because I lost faith in the CDC too. Because at the very beginning they were on top of this shit. They just told the World Health Organization like, hey, you better get your fucking shit together because the World Health Organization at the very beginning saying, oh, it's just only a mild thing. It's not going to be global. It's not going to be an international crisis. CDC's like, no, it's probably going to be like that because it can go from human to animal and shit like that. And then the WHO's like, okay, fine, or WHO like, fine, okay, it's a global thing. Or the fact that they wouldn't call it a pandemic because they didn't have a legal definition because they removed off their website a couple days ago, but now it's fucking pandemic, right? And then now, if you look at the CDC, it does suck that their pandemic director was fired by Trump. I think that's fucking. I think it's fucking like I don't know how. It's like the perfect storm for all the mishappenings. And then it doesn't. Yeah. So CDC director got fired. There's a back. There one of the reagents didn't work, so they had to backlog all the testing. So there's a lot more cases they probably don't know about because they can't test. Like we're the only country that can't even test like 1,000. Like in other countries, they have drive-throughs at this point. They can let you know, but other people, like it's all this other crazy shit. Doesn't help that the test can provide false negatives. So because the virus can dodge the test for some reason. Oh man, it's literally I think it's a Charlie Chaplin quote talking about like laughing in the face of tragedy. Because if you don't, you'll go insane. Like the fact that I find some morbid joy out of this is the only reason why I'm having fun done a fucking backflip off my fucking roof right now. It is it is literally insanity. Just going, it's not fun. Um, it's probably the only time I'll ever talk about real shit on this channel. I don't like to do serious stuff. Like I don't think this is fun. I don't have like yeah. I think it's funny how literally we did everything that we couldn't have done. We did all the worst steps, you know. But at the same time, I'm fucking terrified. I really am. This isn't a funny haha. This is a nervous laughter. Like oh shit. It really doesn't help. And then you have to think about the lasting effects of this. Think about everyone's talking about the here and now, but like this thing will probably affect us for decades. The world economy literally has been dumpstered by this virus, and maybe this will also teach people, hey, maybe it's good to be global. Maybe globalization is good, but hey, maybe countries should be self sufficient a little bit. Maybe we shouldn't always interdepend on each other for everything, you know. Because we get all our medicine from China and India, and since they're shut down, we're fucking on. People are on shortages of essential medicine. Oh, and that's another thing I want to talk about the vaccine and shit. Like they're talking about all the Ebola medicine, the AIDS medicine. Oh, it's working. I knew about that shit since fucking December, and I and I can tell you, you do not want to try that medicine at all. What do you call it? Fucking, I remember this because the people from Africa on Twitter were laughing their ass off, saying, "Oh, you want to take fucking malaria medication, dude? Like this shit leaves you deaf, blind, and all this other bullshit." Like they'd rather catch fucking coronavirus than do you have Ebola medicine. It's fucking funny. Um, but yeah, yeah, he's like that's the perfect example of what I'm trying to say. Like shit that I've known for months that's now making headlines somewhere. Like like uh like the clinical trial for any vaccine is like 18 months. So again, you want the world to be this fucked for 18 months? Yeah, good luck. Uh, if you look at the estimates of the lowest end of the estimates, like 40% of everyone's gonna catch it. The highest end is like 70%. Hell, even the CDC is like you're most likely to catch this disease. That doesn't fucking help me because this disease is pretty fucking bad and I don't want to catch it. Anyways, what I'm trying to get across is I hope this if the world doesn't get fucked over completely by this and we will live past this or whatever. I hope this teaches people a couple things. One, um look into things yourselves. Don't always trust what the news say. They always put a spin on it. The usually it's a lie by omission, which means they'll never tell you the full story. And again, I can understand maybe not telling someone, hey, this is their super virus going around wreaking havoc and China's gonna fuck over the rest of the world would be the best approach. But at least, at least do something in the background to make it, because again, if America was like, you know what, oh, it's just a flu, but they're doing shit in the background, like let's set up all these quarantine camps, let's shut some shit down, let's filter some flights. If they did that, then I'd feel a lot better than them just saying, oh, it's fine, open borders for everyone. Um, Another thing too is maybe let's not make this a political issue. Let's not make everything a fucking political issue. I don't know why every fucking thing has to be a political issue. Um, I don't know why you can't just treat this as a human issue. I don't think it's racist if someone came from fucking China or from Wuhan and you not. I'm not saying you straight up saying, oh, well, you have the disease. I don't want to talk to you, or you just distance yourself, like just put space between yourself. I don't think that's racist to be cautious about your overall health, because I think a lot of people need to realize it's not just about you. It's about everyone else around you. Like those fucking retards in Florida saying, the selfishness of, oh, well, it's party time, it's spring break, I have to go out and party, it's no fair. And then now you have all these reports saying, well, majority of them are testing positive for coronavirus, and they're probably gonna live, but they just fucked their family, they just fucked their grandparents, they fucked their animals, they fucked anyone who's older than them, and that's just or younger than. That's sad. It's sad, really. This should be a humanitarian issue, not a fucking political issue. It's so ridiculous. And I really do think it's the media's fault for this. Just the constant perpetuation of both sides, from Fox to CNN, both demonizing the other side, calling them crazy and all this other shit, and then people again. I don't know. Maybe I don't think people of my generation realize that we have a unique experience because all the older generations grew up watching TV, so that's where they get their information from. My dad has a you know a smartphone like a Samsung, but he doesn't look up his own news. He listens to CNN and stuff. But for me, I look up my own news. I don't like to watch TV. I don't like to do that. I like to use my phone to look up information. So it's more. It's also a generational thing when you think of the response. Because a lot of my parents didn't want to fucking believe me when I put up all these sources. Like, hey, look, I've all these independent sources confirming this. They didn't want to fucking believe me. And then it took CNN to say, hey, well, it might be a problem, or Fox say, hey, it might be a problem for them to start listening, and by then it's usually too late. So, what I'm trying to get is, I hope this teaches you to be independent. Don't make everything a political issue. Stay safe. Don't go outside if you don't have to. Um, just social distancing, right? That's what they've been pushing now. That's a really good policy. Don't If you take public transportation, I feel for you. If you have to go to work, I'm like, my condolences. I think that's so fucked up that, you know, a lot of the government employees don't have to work. They can work from home, but the FedEx people, UPS people have to fucking work. And I can only imagine how terrifying it is to have to go to your job where you have to deliver, where you have to basically meet people all the time and handle packages and shit. I think that's fucking terrifying. Um, yeah, but if you take public transportation, wear a fucking mask. I don't care if it's embarrassing. I don't care X, Y, and Z. I was embarrassed when I wore a mask on the bus going to school, but guess what? I felt like I felt safe. I felt like I could breathe easy. And again, funnily enough, everyone's saying, "Oh, I'm crazy." The next day, they shut down my campus. So I mean, I feel like there's also a sense of shame and stuff. Sometimes when it comes to this, you have to do whatever you have to make sure you're safe, right? That's all I'm saying. Thanks for watching this 32-minute fucking rant. I'll leave you off on this note though. Um, as a person, I don't like when people agree with me. I like the whole entire arguing thing because it doesn't it makes you grow as a person if you face adversity, right? Like strength through adversity. That's the thing. And I've always had this issue. I'm not trying to sound like a fucking narcissistic asshole, but like, when I was in middle school, high school, even college, sometimes people regard me as the smartest in class, X, Y, and Z. So when it comes to peer review, you know, no one really criticizes my work, X, Y. You know what I mean? So it doesn't help me as a person to grow. I hate when people say, "Oh, this is good," and I know it's not good because I wrote it and I know I fucked up something. Um, like, perfect example, we did our paper and I was like, "Oh, it's good," and then my professor literally wrote that this grammar is suboptimal or substandard by any means. Shit like that. Like, I knew that it was bad, but no one would tell me. The reason why I'm saying is that I hope that I hope that you don't agree with this video. I hope you question me and say, well, what the fuck does this asshole know about? And I hope this will implore you to, look into things on your own. I hope again, I hope you don't always just listen to everything everyone says. You should always question certain things. No, I'm not like I think this is my favorite one because I know Jason's always pissed off about this, but in chemistry, you know, I always used to make the joke, oh, 2 plus 2 isn't 4. Well, in chemistry, 2 plus 2 isn't necessarily 4. It could be 5. So the thing is, never always, not everything, uh, don't take everything as a fact, right? Not everything the news will tell you is true. Not everything maybe stuff shit I said wasn't true, but just always question, not, just, I'm trying to end off this video as fucking quickly as I can, but I keep fucking this up. What I'm trying to say is, be independent when it comes to your information. Don't It's okay to agree with someone, but it never hurts to check things out on your own. Like, for instance, there's some things that I found that I was like, oh, there's no way this is true. I even looked at other sources that were like, oh, there's no way this is true, but it's true, right? The whole entire 23 day thing, I was like, oh, that's bullshit. There's no way. And it turns out, yeah, the heart attack, I'm like, oh, no, there's no way that gives you a heart attack. Well, it's turned out to be true. So, um, maybe this is a quote unquote conspiracy theorist attitude, but um, if something bothers you, just look into it. I'm not saying question everything you ever see, but it doesn't hurt to look into the bigger stories. Anyways, thanks for watching.